What progress have you seen from Dillon Gabriel? What areas have you seen drastic improvement? Okay, this is an opportunity for your head coach to go ahead and highlight some things about your rookie quarterback that you insist upon shoving down our freaking throats, and tell us what you see from Dillon Gabriel that you take away as a positive. Because we don't see it, obviously. That's why Daryl's asking this question. We don't see it. We don't see the improvement. We don't see the positives for Dillon Gabriel. So what are they? And here's how Kevin...
You won't believe how wild this got. Something popped off behind the scenes that had coaches stressing, players looking lost, and fans straight up losing it. This move was so random, so chaotic, so out of pocket, that people were literally asking if someone was pulling a prank. The kind of thing you swear would never happen in sports just happened. And the fallout is already getting explosive. If you're enjoying this madness, make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Find yourself at all? I mean, are you staying focused at the task at hand, or do you find yourself ever looking over your shoulder and wondering, when are they going to turn this thing over to Shedeur? Does that ever cross your mind?
No, all I can do is control what I can. And
because things are only getting crazier. It all started with one tiny question at a press conference, and that harmless moment turned the whole Browns facility into a daytime drama. One reporter casually asks if anyone has thought about Shedeur stepping in. Just a simple little question, nothing heavy, nothing wild, just a calm what if tossed into the room, and instantly Dillon Gabriel froze like someone told him his phone bill just tripled. His whole face switched from media mode to who changed the Wi-Fi password without telling me. He looked like somebody drained all the battery out of him in one tap, and the timing couldn't have been worse, because this wasn't just any week. This was an embarrassing loss to the Jets. The Jets, a team that somehow beat Cleveland while barely putting together enough yards to fill a middle school playbook.
As fair of an opportunity that I can give Dillon Gabriel, I'm giving you 2 weeks against a bad defense, a team that just blew up their team, a team that has one win on the season. If it's not today, Dillon will never play a game in his...
They only got 169 yards and still strutted off the field like they had just reinvented the sport. Meanwhile, Cleveland had more yards, more weapons, more chances, and still played like someone replaced their entire playbook with IKEA directions. The confusion was unreal, and while fans were still trying to wrap their heads around how the Jets walked away with a win using 42 passing yards, yes, 42, the kind of number someone racks up playing Madden on rookie mode with their eyes half closed, the drama inside the Browns building went from whispers to a full-on street parade. It wasn't quiet at all. It sounded like somebody plugged the rumor mill into a speaker and aimed it straight at Stefanski's office. Word started swirling about an ex-Browns CEO, someone with real influence and clearly way too much free time, deciding he had officially seen enough.
Well, nobody's expecting him. Like the expectations with Dillon Gabriel was never really franchise quarterback. But like, if you play poorly today against the Jets, you might effectively play your way into being off this roster in its entirety next year. Like, forget being Colt McCoy and a really smart kid that could be around the organization and that could be a backup for 10 years. Like, all that could go out the window. Like, if you can't look serviceable.
He was done with the endless checkdowns, the panic sacks, the we didn't execute speeches, and watching Myles Garrett bury quarterbacks only for the offense to respond with another sad punt. This ex-CEO didn't just complain. He reportedly stormed into conversations, meetings, group chats, maybe even the snack room, and dropped one demand with zero hesitation: bench Dillon Gabriel. Start Shedeur. Not think about it, not review the tape, not let's see how practice goes. Nope. He pulled up like a parent walking into a room and saying, fix this right now. It was wild. And you'd think Stefanski would try.
He's sticking with you going forward. Not that he shouldn't. It's just that at 2-7 sometimes things change.
Yep.
But he's sticking with you. How do you feel about the opportunity to build on, you know, what you did today and move forward?
Yeah, when things aren't going well, there's always going to be change. That's part of it, because if you keep doing the same thing and don't change anything, then it's insanity. But just I feel like at times there's...
At least try to show he's holding the quarterback accountable. Maybe say something like, yeah, 6 sacks is a lot, or completing barely half your passes isn't ideal, or losing to a team with an offense that hits like a retired lawnmower might be concerning. Something, anything. But instead, he marched into the press conference like nothing happened, admitted he didn't even watch the film yet, and proudly announced that Dillon Gabriel would remain the starter after the bye week. Bold strategy, Kevin. Meanwhile, Myles Garrett is on the sideline looking like a man questioning every decision that brought him to this moment. 5 sacks, 5, and they still took an L. That's the kind of crisis that makes a superstar start doubting physics, destiny, and whether the offense even knows what sport they're playing. It was rough. Then the moment hits. A reporter, with the bravery of a whole army, steps up and asks Dillon if he ever thinks about when the team might hand things over to Shedeur. The whole room freezes like someone unplugged the entire building. Dillon blinks slow, takes a deep breath, and instead of showing fire or swagger or anything that sounds like leadership, he drops the one line every coach dreads hearing. All I can do is control what I can control. Translation, yeah, I know what's coming. Please don't make me say it.
You knew that seeing both young quarterbacks at some point this season was important. So just where is Shedeur at as far as his development, and do you have a timetable of when you would take a look at him?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to speculate, Daryl. We're committed to getting better as an offense. Dillon is certainly committing to improving.
The man sounded like he already packed half his locker just in case things go left. But that little awkward moment, that was just the warm-up. The real chaos is happening behind closed doors. Picture this, a former Browns CEO, someone powerful enough to shake the building but not tied to HR rules anymore, sitting across from ownership with a whole PowerPoint titled Why Dillon Gabriel Should Be Politely Escorted Off the Field Immediately. This ex-CEO is allegedly pulling up Colorado highlights, rewinding plays in slow motion, circling reads, pointing at pocket movement, hyping up clutch moments, all while Dillon's tape looks like a deleted blooper reel from a sitcom. He's breaking it down like, look at this. This is what a spark looks like.
Thing every single week. Nothing changes. He has one good quarter a week and he has 2 good throws a game. Nothing changes. It doesn't. Put Shedeur out there and see what Shedeur does. If anything, like we just talked about Brian Daboll, if Shedeur comes out there and he balls out and he plays lights out, you might not get fired in a couple weeks neither. If you keep on throwing Dillon Gabriel out there.
It's wild. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. This isn't just football, it's business. Ticket sales, merch, headlines, buzz, actual excitement. Everything Cleveland has been missing for way too long. Shedeur's name alone fills stadiums. Dillon's name? Right now, it just fills the fan base with concern. Imagine trying to hype a season ticket package with, come witness the magic of 167 passing yards and 6 sacks. That pitch would have people sprinting the other way. Meanwhile, Shedeur is out here bringing fans, sponsors, hype videos, and whole waves of people who only watched Colorado games just so they could tweet nonstop about him. Cleveland could use that spark. Cleveland could use that energy. Cleveland could honestly use anything that isn't pure sadness right now. Back at the press conference, Dillon gets asked about taking 6 sacks, and his answer is basically, yeah, I don't want to take those. Groundbreaking.
And I'm sorry, Dillon, you cannot play NFL football. This is like the AI Atlas. We've never seen it before. And after the game, for the Browns to just say, not even arbitrarily, they're saying it like it's the mantra of the team, that Dillon Gabriel's playing again next week. Such a great exercise in incompetence that we should study this in some type of anthropology class at the highest level.
Revolutionary. Truly the kind of high-level insight that transforms football forever. Yes, Dillon, we know. Nobody wakes up thinking, today feels like a great day to get dropped on the turf repeatedly. The issue isn't wanting, it's avoiding. Franchise quarterbacks move, react, escape, slide, improvise. They do anything other than standing perfectly still while danger rushes in at the speed of pure disappointment. Shedeur, on the other hand, has spent whole seasons dodging defenders like he had a sponsorship deal with chaos itself. The pressure he went through at Colorado, man was basically playing behind a group of traffic cones, and he still launched lasers like a busted t-shirt cannon firing at full power. And when Dillon starts saying things like, you don't want to plant a seed and rip it up before it grows, that's exactly the type of line someone uses when they're begging the organization to please, please, please not replace them with the guy whose highlight reels go viral if he even sneezes on camera. Let's keep it real.
I have never seen an incompetent coach, an incompetent quarterback united at the hip with no end in sight. And I want to be clear. I'm saying this without mentioning the name Shedeur Sanders, because it ain't got nothing to do with him. He doesn't even have to be on this roster for this to be one of the dumbest.
Cleveland didn't bring in Dillon Gabriel expecting him to be the next franchise superstar. The whole city sees the writing on the wall, even if he's trying his best not to look directly at it. He was supposed to be a bridge quarterback, a solid stand-in, a calm placeholder, the guy who keeps the ship steady. But instead of keeping that ship afloat, he's basically drilling holes in the bottom while the Jets float by on a raft waving like everything's sweet. It's wild. And the ex-CEO, he's not wrong at all. He sees exactly what everyone else sees. Shedeur has the leadership, the presence, and that late-game fire that could flip the entire future of this franchise. Meanwhile, Dillon out there looking like someone trying to remember if they left the stove on mid-drive. Shedeur brings something else too. Fearlessness. When things get rough, he doesn't fold. He steps closer. He treats pressure like it's disrespecting him. You can literally see him get more energized when defenders come flying at him like they're trying to end his season. He thrives in the chaos that makes Dillon quietly melt. Dillon's whole press conference didn't say QB1. It said assistant accountant explaining a math slip-up. He dropped more generic corporate lines in 10 minutes than most CEOs use in a full quarterly call. We'll execute better. We'll keep working. Momentum and rhythm. Control what I can control.
Brian Daboll was like, you know what? I might lose my job. Here, Jackson Dart. Like, if you think you're going to lose your job, you do move off of the Cats. So Shedeur Sanders is Kevin Stefanski's ace in the hole. The reason Stefanski's not playing Shedeur in my mind is because his job is safe. James, I look at it like this. Jimmy Haslam, Kevin Stefanski, they're on one accord. Andrew Berry, general manager, he views it differently. I think Andrew Berry, the general manager.
It was like listening to an inspirational poster talk. Meanwhile, Shedeur would have stared down the mic like it owed him cash and broken down exactly what went wrong, who needs to step up, and how he's about to fix it himself. That's the difference right there. Players aren't clueless. They know when the quarterback is holding them back, and this locker room can feel the gap loud and clear. Myles Garrett nearly broke a whole franchise record and still had to walk off that field looking like someone snatched his wallet right out his pocket. You really think he's excited to keep losing games when the offense can't fire off even one clean shot when it matters? The defense is out there working triple shifts while the offense is collecting participation ribbons. It's embarrassing. Ownership has to be watching this meltdown with a mix of horror and heavy regret, and those phone calls that reportedly went down after the Jets game, completely believable. That loss didn't feel normal. That felt like a turning point, a wake-up call, the type of defeat that forces emergency meetings, uncomfortable conversations, and a whole lot of finger-pointing.
In that word salad of bull, one thing that he can point out that Dillon Gabriel has improved upon or is doing well? Nope, I didn't hear it either. It's not there. He had nothing. He didn't have an answer. It speaks volumes that you can't point out one single thing that your rookie quarterback, that you handpicked, that you designated for first team reps and opportunities from day one of minicamp after he was drafted, all this time. 5 starts in the NFL.
Because when you lose to a team that can barely generate passing yards, something is seriously off. That's exactly why the ex-CEO isn't getting brushed off this time. He's coming in with logic, performance stats, film breakdowns, straight-up receipts, proving the Browns are wasting valuable time hoping Dillon magically transforms into somebody he's not. And Stefanski, he's boxed in. If he benches Dillon right now, he has to admit he misread the situation, that he misjudged the talent, that his QB evaluation might look more like a dartboard than a real system. And once you admit that, every decision after starts looking shaky. Which brings everything right back to Shedeur, because the whole debate comes down to this simple truth. Shedeur does more with less. Dillon does less with more. Picture Shedeur in that Jets game. He's not taking 6 sacks. He's not out there looking lost. He's not panicking. He's delivering throws, escaping pressure, improvising, lifting everyone around him. Cleveland wins that game by 3 touchdowns and the whole city throws a parade in the streets. Instead, Cleveland watched Dillon turn a defensive masterpiece into a loss. That's not easy to do. Honestly, it's impressive. In the saddest way possible. And according to what the ex-CEO reportedly told people, champions don't settle for quarterbacks who can't beat the Jets. Brutal, but accurate. These next few weeks, they're about to decide everything.
From Cleveland.com after the Browns' 27-20 loss to the New York Jets, who had only one victory coming into this game, that being against the Cincinnati Bengals before their bye week. It's really quite shocking that they came in here and lost to this football team that basically conducted a fire sale during their bye week, trading away their 2 best defensive players. The opportunity was there to come in here for the Cleveland Browns to seize the moment and win this football game, but they gave up 2.
Either Cleveland finally admits the obvious and makes the bold move everyone's waiting for, or they stay on the Dillon train and ride it straight into more losses, more frustration, and more press conferences full of passive acceptance and farming quotes that make everybody cringe. Fans deserve better. Players deserve better. The whole organization deserves better. And Shedeur, he just might be that better they've been praying for. He could be the spark, the shift, the storyline that flips the entire season on its head. Because one thing is crystal clear. Dillon Gabriel isn't the long-term answer, he's barely even the short-term answer. And unless Stefanski wants to see his face on the next billboard as a farewell tribute, he might want to pay attention to that voice echoing through the building. That voice belongs to the former CEO who kicked open the door, pointed at the depth chart, and said what everyone else has been too nervous to say out loud. Start Shedeur, and here's the part nobody in Cleveland wants to admit publicly, but they're absolutely whispering in hallways, group chats, and tailgates. The longer they wait to make this move, the uglier the crash will be. Because if Dillon goes out there after the bye week and drops another episode of quarterbacking for people who don't like winning, the stadium might boo in straight-up harmony, not scattered boos.
Never been a top 100 draft pick. Like, we can start there. He should have never been a 100 draft pick. There is nothing about his physical makeup, his college tape, anything that warrants being a top 100 draft pick. They did it. They made the decision.
Time I go on the internet, all I see is a bunch of dudes sitting around going, why are you not playing Shedeur, and why are you about it? Like they're playing the soundbite. He won't even say his name. He won't even say his name.
Not polite little "we're upset" boos, but the full volume surround sound, hometown heartbreak boo. The kind that shakes concrete and destroys confidence on impact. And after that, Stefanski walks into the press conference looking like he just read his own obituary. The locker room fractures even deeper. Veterans mentally check out. Young players start questioning the leadership they're supposed to trust. Meanwhile, Shedeur is sitting on the sideline, probably rocking sunglasses, staying quiet, watching everything unfold, and knowing exactly what's coming next. He doesn't have to say a single word. He doesn't have to campaign, doesn't have to make speeches, doesn't have to lobby for anything. All Shedeur has to do is exist, and the pressure shifts toward him on its own. Fans feel it heavy, players feel it creeping in, and the whole city knows it's real. This is bigger than one game, bigger than one decision, bigger than one awkward press conference. This is about identity, about direction, about whether Cleveland wants to keep pretending everything is fine, or finally admit the answer might be standing right there waiting for a real shot to take the wheel, because eventually someone in that building is going to snap and just say it straight. Why are we wasting time? Why are we pretending? Why won't we just give Shedeur the ball? And once that question slips out somebody's mouth, there's no going back. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you on the next one.